Morning. I don't know about you, but this time of year my shed gets just embarrassingly untidy. So I'm going to give it a bit of a clear out. Mainly it's all these pots I bring up from the greenhouse at home. They're just littered everywhere. Anyway, I'm going to see if I can make some sense of it. Right, that's enough of that, I think. We'll get on with some proper gardening now. So this is what I'm dealing with. It's an absolute massive mountain of rocket, which is fantastic, of course, but it's a bit out of hand. It's kind of gone too tough now, and it gets bitter when it's tough. You need rocket when it's nice and young and fresh, I think. But what I'm wanting to do before I take it out is save the seeds. I'm big on saving seeds this year. I want to try and cut down my seed bill that I spend every year, which is a fortune, of course. We're all the same. Once you start, you can't stop. So I'm going to save some seeds, and I'm going to take all of this out. So these ones here are the seed pods, these long thin things. Ideally, I would have left them a bit longer until they were browned a bit more and a bit more ripe. But nonetheless, you can pick them at this stage, and if you just let them dry out themselves, and I'm just going to put mine in a brown paper envelope, and they will dry out just fine. So this is the seed pod here. You can just run your fingernail along it. And all the seed is in there. Not sure how well you can see that. Collecting seed every year from your own garden will help your plants to eventually acclimatise to the region that you're living in. Last year, we live in the northeast of England, and we've got a beautiful coastline, and I walk a lot along the cliff tops. And last year, every time I walked, oh sorry about the wind, it's terrible. Last year as I was walking along the cliff tops, all the time I kept smelling rocket. Which I thought was pretty strange for it to be grown wild. Anyway, eventually I tracked it down, and there was some little rocket plants growing right on the cliff tops facing the North Sea. So I did think, right, I'm going to collect the seeds from them because they're going to be as hardy as they come. And so I did. I kept going back, and eventually when the seeds were ready, I picked them off. And a lot of my rocket this year has been grown from those seeds. So here we go again. This is second year going with that. It's hardy rocket. That's for sure. Oh, this is so woody. I don't know whether I can even pull it out. Like a shrub. Hens are going to enjoy their feast this afternoon. So space really is at a premium on our little allotment. I'm always looking for an extra bed for something. I've got a queue of things waiting to get put in the ground at the minute. I've got these beetroot, I've got that bit of rocket out, and I'm going to put these in here. Well, the wind is getting up. I hope it's not interfering with the sound too much. I have got beetroot here, which as usual I haven't labelled properly. It might be cylindra, it might be bolt hardy, I don't know. We'll find out when it grows, hoping it will grow. I don't have a lot of success with beetroot for some reason. I know it's one of the easier crops to grow, but just can't seem to get much to come of it. Anyway, this is going in, it's multi-sown. I've got, oh well, there's only one in there. I haven't got too many in, I've got 2 or 3 in each plant pot. I'm just going to push them straight into the ground. Fingers crossed we'll have some beetroot maybe in the autumn. Got a couple of little cylindra that I could harvest there. That's a bit little, but it's almost out of the ground, so we'll take that. There's one here, I think. So when you multi-sow, you just take the biggest ones out and leave the smaller ones to carry on growing. So taking that one out, that's massive, I know. I'll leave those 2 little ones in. These beetroot went in the spring sometime. As I say, not hugely successful. Next task of the day is I'm going to feed the tomatoes. I haven't fed them at all yet, and I should have been, because the fruit is on the vine and you're supposed to feed your outdoor tomatoes every 2 weeks. I don't really do that. I've grown tomatoes, I think this is my 3rd year, and I've had some success, really, just really beginner's luck. I think I've just thrown them in and let them do their thing. I've fed them when I remember, and when I don't remember, well, they just have to get on. So it's a cupful, more or less, per watering can. I'm sure they'll enjoy that. As you can see, the tomatoes got a long way to go. With the very cold spring that we had, they didn't go in until really late. And living in the north of England, I'm not sure that well, in fact I am sure that they're not going to have enough time to ripen, to be honest. But I know I can ripen them on the windowsill. I did that last year. So if they can just grow a bit and get to full maturity, we'll certainly get something. Well, I've had to retire into the shed. The winds eventually brought the rain with it. It's a very blustery day. What I did want to do today if I could find a space, which is doubtful actually, is start and plant some more seeds, not necessarily for harvesting this year, but for harvesting next year. What I discovered entirely by mistake last year was I put in chard, I put in spring onions, and I think a rocket I put in at the back end of the year, and they never came to anything that season, so I didn't harvest off them, and I just left them in. And this year, early in spring, I found they came up, and I was able to harvest an early crop of rocket and of chard and of spring onions. So I really wanted to try the same again this year. I've got some chard bright lights there I wanted to get in. I've got some purple lilia spring onions. Well, I've just harvested that rocket seed today. I would like to get some of that in. I think that will self-seed this year actually, because I got a lot of self-seeding rocket last year, or this year, getting mixed up. And I've also got some perpetual spinach there that I would like to try. It's in the chard family, so I think it would probably do the same, come up a little bit and then just overwinter. Northeast England, we're coastal, we don't get horrendously cold winters. I mean, it is sub-zero, it'll go down, I mean, you know, -5 at an extreme, I would have said, but usually it's not that bad, and the stuff seems to be able to survive in that. Anyway, that's going to be for another day. Well, I hope you enjoyed coming with me to pot around the allotment today. I'm glad I got that beetroot in. Hopefully I'll be able to get some kind of crop this year, and I hope this wind dies down and the rain goes off. Not very nice. See you next time. Bye.